Welcome to this video. My name is Alia Joseph. I would start off by saying food is necessary for us to live. In this time, throughout the world, there is a pandemic we are all facing. Trade in foodstuff had a remarkable resilience to disruption throughout this pandemic. The rapid rise of prices posed significant challenges to consumers. In our country, Trinidad and Tobago, there is a tight economic outlook for the short to medium term period. Foreign exchange is no longer easily available. However, with the limited amount, a percentage is used to purchase and import food for the country. In an effort to save foreign exchange and consumers, we are encouraging persons to eat locally produced food items by starting a home garden. This is what led us to do this project to educate persons on this 4 feet by 8 feet grow box, which they can construct at their home to primarily help conserve the foreign exchange in our country, Trinidad and Tobago, and to also save on your market bills. My colleague Javed Mohammed, Kriston Rambisoon, Faim Khan, Sadhanan Lochan, Randy Lal, and myself will be discussing the following: relevant information on the food importation bill, methodology, this is how we went about our project, what is a home garden, crops used and the reason why, instructions on how to develop and maintain the home garden, and lastly, plant nutrients and management. I would now like to pass you on to my colleague Sadhana Nuchan, who will be discussing relevant information on the food importation bill.
So good day, my name is Siddharth Lucha, and today I'll be presenting on the relevant information on our food importation bill here in Trinidad and Tobago. With that being said, I would like to thank Leah for that intro. So let's get straight into it. So our food importation bill, what is really the food importation bill? Our food importation bill is actually the amount of money we spend per year on importing foods and vegetables and stuff like that into the country. So our food imports were given an estimated of $5.6 billion in the year 2019, creating a huge change in our foreign exchange. $1.1 billion of that estimated value was spent on the importation of cereals, fruits, and vegetables. $180 million was spent on the importation of breads, biscuits, and pastries. $2.8 billion was spent on the importation of raw dough and mixers. With research, it shows that the government will be prioritizing the availability of foreign exchange for the importation of foods, medicines, and manufacturing inputs. With further research, it shows that for the year 2020, over $2 billion was spent on the importation of cereals, vegetables, and cereals and vegetables alone over $2 billion. In that year, the government introduced a $500 million stimulus in the budget, aiming to encourage the supply of locally produced goods, which would ultimately reduce the food importation bill of Trinidad and Tobago. But we are in the year 2022, and we're not seeing that our food importation bill is going down. With a little more research, it shows the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the FAO, says global food import prices will reach a record high, with prices within developing countries and developing regions expected to rise by over 20% compared to 2020 and 2021. In a statement, the FAO said developing regions are facing sharp increases in prices of basic staples such as animal fats, cereals, oils, oilseeds, while high-value foods such as fruits and vegetables, fishery products, and beverages are driving the bulk of the increases for developed regions. We are in the year 2020, and we can clearly see that our food importation bill, our bill, especially in the groceries, is very high. So by implementing this little grow box system, we can be able to cut down of the amount of money we spend per month or per year by just growing our own food. For example, per month you may spend $400 on just seasoning alone. So if you grow your own food for just 1 month, you could be able to save $400. That $400 over a year is $4,800. That $4,800 could be used for something else other than going towards your food, right? You could use it to put it behind a savings or something like that. So with that being said, I would like to pass you over to Kristen Ramby soon, and he will give you the methodology on how to go about doing your grow box system. Okay, thank you.
My name is Krishna Ramisun. I am from UTT. My class and I have embarked on a group project to show you how to do a grow box. My part is to show you how I started and ended my grow box. The grow box, the first thing to do is to select a site where there is sufficient space. As you can see, this is a 4 feet by 4 feet grow box. To take into consideration is sunlight. It must have sufficient sunlight, meaning it can't have too much sunlight and too little bit of sunlight. We must have is sufficient water, meaning it can't have too much water or too little bit of water. Also, there must be proper drainage, so when the excess water from rain can drain out. If there's too much moisture in the roots, the roots from the plant can rotten and die. Once we selected the site for the grow box, the next step was to purchase the lettuce seedlings and the required nutrients to water the soil, as well as the tools and equipment required in the making of the grow box. This is my grow box, 4x4 grow box, which I have built using 4 pieces of ply. This is the mixture consisting of sawdust, regular dirt and manure. Right, this is the recommended mixture for planting the lettuce. This is the fertilizer nutrients that I'll be using to fertilize the soil. When I'm throwing this fertilizer, it needs to be evenly distributed. Otherwise, you don't want some crops growing small, some growing big. So that's why evenly distributed. So this is the end result of planted the lettuce evenly distributed, 6 inches away from each other. Once the seedlings were planted, I had a process to follow. I had to water the plants every morning and evening for a total of 4 to 5 weeks. Within those 4 to 5 weeks, every 10 to 15 days, I sprinkled fertilizer over the soil for a healthy growing crop such as mine.
Hi, my name is Randy Lal, and I will be telling you why you should have a home garden. You should have a home garden because it will save you a lot of time from going to the market and going by every individual stall and selecting the proper fruits or vegetables that you are buying, because some may not be in the best state. Whereas you could just go in your backyard and select freshly picked produce that your own home garden have produced. You can also control the amount of chemicals that you are putting into your own fruits and vegetables, whereas farmers are pumping their produce with chemicals for it to bear fast and bear plenty, which could cause harm to your body. You can also save you a lot of money from going to the market when you calculate the amount of money spent on transport to go into the market weekly or monthly. It can become a very huge cost at the end. Also, the fruits that you planted is more organic and more healthy for your body, and it is also more environmentally friendly, where transporting goods across the world increases global warming and increase our carbon footprint in the world, which is damaging the ozone layer and so forth. Sometimes having a garden is like having a hobby. It's calming, stress relieving, and can also improve your mental health. Many people in the global pandemic are suffering from mental health because there's a lot of stress. People are getting laid off, they are not working. So having a home garden will really help in these situations.
Good day, my name is Fahim Khan. Today my task is to discuss the crops used in this project and why we use them. In this project we planted lettuce, pak choy and sweet peppers. These crops can be classified as short-term crops. Now you may ask, what is short-term crops? Short-term crops are crops who have a lifespan between 3 to 4 months. Some advantages of short-term crops are they add nutrition back into the soil. For example, planting green peas can add nitrogen into the soil. So therefore, for the next crop rotation, you can plant a crop that requires high amount of nitrogen. For example, cabbage or kale. Also, these short-term crops can act as weed suppressors, meaning they prevent weeds from growing around the crop, so therefore the crop can attain maximum nutrition from the soil. Why we planted these crops? Now imagine a 4x8 grow box. Yes, it is a lot of space, but it is only enough space to plant 8 to 10 short-term crops whose roots are not wide, and it is also enough nutrition for 8 to 10 short-term crops compared to a long-term crop who takes like approximately 3 to 4 years and their roots spans more than 4 feet by 8 feet. Also, these crops doesn't require harsh chemicals. Now this is a very short explanation why we use these plants, and now I will pass you on to Javed Mohammed, who will continue with our proceedings.
My name is Javed Mohammed, and today I will be explaining how to construct your home garden grow box. First step, selecting a grow box site, whether it be on a soil surface or a concrete surface. You have to ensure that your grow box has a continuous of 6 hours of sunlight every day. Second step, planning the layout of your grow box by determining the size of your grow box needed for your garden, where I choose a 4x8 grow box. Third step, obtaining all the materials needed for your grow box, whether it be tools, materials for the frame of your grow box, materials for your soil. Ensure you have all those before constructing your grow box. Fourth step, removing all the weeds on the site of your grow box and leveling your area. Fifth step, constructing your grow box. After constructing your grow box, you'll have to line the base of your grow box with limestone. Only if your grow box is on a soil surface. It is not needed if it's on a concrete surface. Sixth step, mixing your soil medium. We use sharp sand, chips, cow manure, limestone and blue corn fertilizer. After mixing all of these together, we will then fill the grow box and level it. Water and make sure that the soil is properly soaked, and we will then mark out the spots for transplanting our desired crops. After doing so, we will now plant the seedlings. Completing the transplant of the seedlings into the grow box, we will now be managing this crop by watering 2 times daily and fertilizing every 10 to 15 days until harvest time. And that's it. I hope this information was helpful to you in constructing your home garden grow box. Thank you very much.